Roll call. It looks like we're all present.
Chairman Stillian,
Here.
Commissioner Hall,
Here.
Commissioner Rowe,
Here.
Commissioner Holland,
Here.
Commissioner Brienzo.
Approval of minutes.
Could I make a motion that we approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing. 369 Summer Street, establish no parking loading zone. I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of 369 Summer Street, no parking loading zone? Anyone wishing to speak in favor of 369 Summer Street? Anyone wishing to speak in favor of 369 Summer Street? Hearing none, I close the public hearing in favor. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the bus stop at 369 Summer Street, to the no parking at 369 Summer Street? Hearing none, I close the public hearing in opposition, and I close the public hearing. This was actually asked for by the ward councilor quite a while ago. It was tabled because there was some business concerns down there, and I think that's all been resolved, but it would definitely greatly help the parking. The only problem might come in when you turn that corner. It is a tight thing on Summer Street, but I believe they're gonna rectify that. I don't know if anybody would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve number 937 to establish no parking loading zone.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, MBTA bus layover. We want to take that off the table?
Can I make a motion to take 951 off the table?
Second.
Motion made, second. Take it off the table. You're here for the MBTA bus layover?
Yeah, in opposition.
Yep. Where do you live?
54 Ocean Street,
Okay.
right where the bus layover is. Right
Oh, okay.
in front of it,
Do you want to give me your name and?
yeah, it's Bridget Brewer Patterson.
And are you here also for that, sir? Oh, you together?
Yes, this is my husband.
Yep.
And our neighbors were on their way, but I think they thought it was at City Hall. So, yeah, do you want me to speak now?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah, I live at 54 Ocean Street. We didn't receive any notice that it was being moved in front of our residence, and when they put it in front of our residence, we have no buffer in front of our house, so it's literally our window in our TV room, the sidewalk, and then the bus. It's really, really noisy, and it's not even summertime yet. We don't have our windows open. I can hear it. My shower is all the way in the back of the house, and I can hear the buses while I'm in the shower. They're so loud.
What are they doing? Are they running the buses?
Sometimes they're idling. We have to go out and ask them to shut them off. Sometimes it's just the engine starting back up, taking a little while to warm them up. Sometimes they're outside talking right in front of the window. It's really uncomfortable. It's literally just our window and then the sidewalk. So we don't have grass or bushes or anything. So it's taken away all of the parking that we had in front of our building as well. So some people are parking in Salamini's extra parking lot, not knowing if they're ever going to get towed and things like that, but it did take away a lot of parking. And where the bus stops in front of our house, we also have a driveway that comes up, and it's really hard to see if the bus is parked there, which it usually, we have so many buses coming by each day. If it's sitting outside and we're trying to get out of our driveway, it's really hard to see around that, and people fly down Ocean Street. They're coming down so fast, so it's pretty dangerous. Yeah.
Sir, would you like to add anything?
I just feel like you should say.
Basically, the bus layover was part of the changing of the routes, which actually granted us more parking in the area. We actually picked up a lot of spots because we did eliminate a lot of bus stops in the area. And I do understand fully, I get calls constantly at my office for every bus stop in the city, I think. Any place that there's a bus stop in front, there's people throwing trash, there's all kinds of situations happening. The layover, I think, not that you're in a better situation, but you're in a little bit better situation where it's not people getting out and sitting waiting for the bus, it's just a layover for the buses, where you're not having the people sitting out front throwing trash and stuff.
We do, it's a bus stop as well. So it's 54 Ocean Street, there's a bus layover spot, and then right behind it is the bus stop. So it's that all of
Are
our.
you in
our
front of the
full
layover, or
sidewalk.
are you in front of the bus stop?
We're right in front of the layover, but sometimes the people are waiting right in front of our window. They don't wait in front of the bus stop, unfortunately.
And this was definitely advertised. We had a meeting over at City Hall in the council chambers. When the bus layover was put in there, we had, to all the meetings we had, I would say well over 100 people attending these things, and there was quite a bit of discussion about when it went there, and we did an actual 90-day layover. We have not heard a lot of complaints. We had some. The Ward 3 council actually gave me a letter from him, and basically part of the problem is we're talking to the bus company, which I know he has. They're still using the spot at Solomini for a layover, which is not supposed to happen. It's supposed to move down there. And there's still some improvements that are going to be done at the Solomini spot. And the ward council is very concerned about this. And right now, we have another young lady coming in.
Yeah, we're in here. So I would just like to add to that actually the meeting that they were having was when they were proposing that the bus layover spot be down at the triangle by the beach. That was the meeting where all of those residents were informed. And I actually attended the last meeting that they had just to, be there for my neighbors. And that's when they actually said that they would be putting it in front of 54 Ocean Street instead, without any notice to any of the residences. And that wasn't something that was brought up at any of the other meetings. That was brand new at this one meeting. And then we didn't have the opportunity to speak about it at another meeting at all. They just made that final decision.
We're on the bus layover. If you ladies would like anything to say?
Well, we pretty much feel the same way.
We just need your name and address for the...
Okay, so Melissa LeBird, 54 Ocean Street.
I thought you were at 54 Ocean Street.
We're on the
It's a
first
multi-
floor.
it's a
Yeah,
multi-
they're our
It's a
landlord.
three-family. Yeah. What?
The White House?
Yes.
Yeah.
She want my name?
Yes.
Karen Patricus, 54 Ocean Street, second floor.
And you had some comments
Yeah, I'm not sure what you had said, so I might be repeating
That's
some
fine.
of the stuff.
Yeah, fine.
But basically, we are pretty much the only residents there, and I feel like that spot was kind of picked because it was an easy target. Because you're not going to find, that layover when it was originally proposed for the triangle. There was tons of people that came out for that and didn't want it there, so it didn't happen. But now we're this one residence, and coincidentally, it's put there. And so basically, everyone that lives there does not want it there. The other surrounding areas is pretty much like businesses, so they're not going to come forward and say anything. They don't care. They don't live there. They don't hear what we hear on a daily basis. The other issue that I have is I find it to be very dangerous when I'm coming out of my driveway. When they're the layover and they're parked there for however long, I have to struggle to see. And sometimes the cars are coming, and if I get hit and I have my kids in the car, I don't think that that's really, it's just, it's dangerous. And there's lots of cars that come out of there. And just the constant noise that they're,
Sorry.
so those are some of my issues with it being there.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak? We're talking about the bus layover in front of your house.
Yes.
You just walked in, so on the same property.
My only concern is the safety issue with the bus pulling up all the way to the curb, and there's no way to look to the left, to the incoming traffic. So that's my only issue, pretty much.
Unfortunately, bus stops are probably the hardest thing in the city. The people that congregate waiting for buses, the inconvenience in front of houses. Unfortunately, it's something that is done. This particular project did eliminate a lot of bus stops. Unfortunately, it did place another one there. This was the incumbents of quite a few meetings, and they were playing with different locations and stuff. I do have a letter from the Ward 3 councilor who basically is very concerned about it still. He has not heard many negatives about it. He's only heard a couple of things, and primarily most of the people seem very happy with the new location.
Who would that be? The people that don't live near there?
Yeah.
That I do not know. But there were some things across the street at the Solomini thing where there was still a little bit of layovers happening there, which they are trying to prevent. And we will definitely be talking to the bus company about them making sure that they're not disrupting the neighborhood. They're not supposed to be idling the buses and different things like that.
We do that across the street. The buses across the street.
In front of Solomini,
down,
yes.
Idling all the time.
And that's in the letter from the ward councilor. He's very concerned about that because they're still idling. And I actually was at a meeting in the council office last week or the week before. I'm not sure. I apologize for that. And the councilor actually blasted the MBTA again for that they are still idling the buses in the spots. And the council president, Darren Sear, is very concerned about it. He's the Ward 3 councilor too, but he definitely nailed a message to them, and we're going to actually follow up with a letter saying that they cannot be idling the buses. This is actually the 90-day layover, and I think the different people involved were trying it here as a trial basis to see what kind of problems. I understand the problems in front of the houses, which I do definitely understand, which happens in every bus stop in the city. I don't know what the wish of the board is.
So this is the 90-day extension to the,
Yeah, so we'd be making it permanent, or we would be extending it again. I think it was pretty much to see if there was a lot of opposition and stuff, and I do feel bad for the people living in front of that house. Yeah.
This is.
And unfortunately, every house that they put a bus stop in front of,
No buffer, and that's the
they,
thing is.
they have the same exact problem at every bus stop in the city.
Stairs in the front of their house, they have grass, they have fences, we have absolutely no buffer whatsoever. The bus is literally right there. The screeching of the brakes, they're so loud all day long. It's so loud, it's so loud.
And again, people with the buffer, with the porches and stuff, they're complaining about the people sitting on their stairs, sitting on their picket fences. Bus stops are a very tough thing. Unfortunately, public transportation in the city of Lynn, what they've done is they've actually expedited some of the routes. They've actually given us a lot more parking throughout this whole thing. They did a bunch of different corridors. They did the Washington Street corridor where they did eliminate some spots. They did the Washington Broad where they eliminated some spots, and they also did along the Commons. And
There's literally a business 10 feet away from our
What?
house, like right at the bend.
right in the corner, yep.
Yeah, why can't it be placed there?
Again, I believe that was through the study. They spent a lot of time on this.
I would say-
On the corner, it was more a situation of safety going around the corner. They didn't want it protruding into the corner.
That's a situation of safety, but my
Yeah.
driveway and incoming traffic, that's not a safety issue.
Unfortunately, if you drive around the city, every bus stop is in front of somebody's house, and when you're driving out of your driveway both ways, it does cause that same problem in every residence.
There's not a layover at every residence.
But there's constant buses stopping. It's the same.
And I'd like
Critter.
to reiterate too that the meetings that were held were, they had nothing to do with our residents whatsoever. It was for the other proposed site for the layover, which was the triangle. That's what all the meetings were for. We didn't have a meeting where we were able to speak in opposition against the bus layover being.
Well, you're having the opportunity today to express
After they
your.
had already placed it, yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, what's something that we're able to do at this point to, possibly change it, like.
Again, it wouldn't go on the corner, but by changing it, and quite a bit of people, the city, actually, the Ward 3 councilor went around, the mayors, everybody was involved in this thing, looking at the particular locations. The neighbors were involved. They actually got a bus, and they actually went through some of the different routes trying to find a solution. Somebody else's house, which may not work either. Nobody wants, the last thing anybody wants is a bus stop in front of their house.
Right, and
It's-
the last layover that they proposed wasn't in front of anybody's house either. That was the disappointing part, that they had moved it from a place that wouldn't be in front of anyone's house to then being directly in front of a residence. And I had contacted Ward Councilor Darren Sear, I had all of the other councilors, the city councilors, the mayor, and never heard anything back from them a few times. And luckily, they did tell me about this meeting this morning.
Yep.
So I was able to tell my landlord and their family. So luckily, we were able to be here, but we didn't hear anything about it before this email I got this morning. So, we're not being notified about any of these things. We weren't notified when they, decided that they were going to put it in front of our residents. Luckily, I had just happened to be at that meeting, so.
Well, again, it is published, all the meetings here are published. This was on the agenda that was published for today. It was on all the other agendas, and my recollection of most of those meetings were they were looking for a location at those meetings to put the bus stop. This location was discussed at a couple of meetings. It was discussed other locations also. They tried to go to Swampscott with it. The city has really tried everything. And the other part is the MBTA, if they do not have this, may not actually give us the service that we're getting. So at this time, I don't know what the wish of the board. I do feel bad.
I'm sorry, one more question. So what was wasn't able to be at the triangle, like the original kind of proposal that the MBTA had? What was the issue with that? Like,
There was multiple issues with a bunch of different locations. This one here, that's why we did the trial here.
No, but
which
what was it about the layover there that,
I would have to actually go through it at the time.
was it because there was many people opposing it?
Yes.
The
About
right
the
people
view.
opposed it. It seems.
No, I don't think that, I think it was more of going to find the right location for the layover.
I disagree, because I was at that meeting, there were tons of people who were opposing it, and coincidentally, it wasn't put there. But again, because it's just us, it's very easy for you guys to be like, well, this is what we have to do.
This is definitely not an easy decision for this board, or for any of the elected officials, or the MBTA when they went through this. Again, there's proposals right now for Western Ave, there's proposals for all kinds of things in the city. We are trying to help the public transportation here. It's a tough thing. There is no winners in this thing. The people riding the buses are going to have a better situation, but there are going to be people who are inconvenienced by the bus stops did get eliminated, but other bus stops were added. Bus stops were moved, layovers were moved. And I do, believe me, a lot of the people out here are very good friends of mine I've known all my life. It's a very hard thing. I understand that. Unfortunately, this was a trial thing, and pretty much other than very unfortunately, it's hurting that house there. It's really not hurting the whole transportation thing as much. So,
I would ask that if you could at least just extend the trial instead of making it permanent, so that we're able to come together and see if there's anything else that we might be able to do, scouting other locations, getting other neighbors involved, anything. If you could just think about extending the trial instead of making it a permanent decision tonight.
I think that sounds like a reasonable
Yes,
request.
yeah.
Could I make a motion to extend the trial period for the bus layover for another 90 days?
I'll second that.
To feel things out. I know you're going to be inconvenienced for this 90 days, and you may not like the decision at the end of the 90 days, but it's in 90 days, and we will keep you abreast of when our next meeting is. And between now and then, you guys can talk to who you need to talk to influence this decision, basically.
Thank you very much.
and again, the meetings are all posted, so you can check the meetings. It would,
It was like, I was trying to do something like
Yeah, we're not trying to,
separately, yeah.
we don't work in secret here. And
Yeah.
you can leave the clerk your email, and we'll let you know exactly when the meeting will be.
Yeah, thank you.
All right?
motion was made and seconded. Any more discussion on the motion? What is the, did I call the motion?
He did.
I seconded.
Yeah, no, I
Motion
call.
was to extend the
I
trial
would do
period
I would do a roll vote.
another 90 days.
I would do a roll vote,
Okay. Commissioner Stillian,
yes.
to extend the trial period
Yes.
another 90 days. Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Rowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Holland?
Yes.
Commissioner Brienzo?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor, motion passes.
Thank you.
And again, you can contact the MBTA anytime. There are numbers. They were giving out at all the meetings. If they're idling, they're causing problems, you want to talk to them and see if they can't do something to solve some of the problems. If you can find another location, believe me, I have driven the streets down there. Mr. Commissioner Hall has gone down there. Tom, the previous person in Tom's spot, the board members, we all, believe me, understand. And in my job, I get a lot of things because of the bus stops where people on top of the stairs, fences have been damaged and stuff. The MBTA is usually very good. The councils in the city are extremely good. When there's a problem with the bus stop and the people aren't, they'll get right on the MBTA. Darren Sear, the ward council in that area, is extremely into his neighborhood and stuff, and he is on top of them. He's already screaming, as it was brought up about across the street, he's already screaming at them. He's not happy at that situation. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank
So do you want, it sounds like you're the spokesperson for the building, or you, or who?
No. I'm just the loud one.
No, she's great at it, so like, we just kind of chime in. like,
Who should we
yeah.
reach out to?
Karen's the most verbal.
Who should we reach out to for the next meeting?
I would say Bridget, yes.
Okay, Bridget, do you mind
If
giving
you can just
Shirley
write
your
down your
email
email
address?
for me. It's right there. No.
Okay.
Could I congratulate Jim and Chris on their
Appointed?
new appointments?
You get appointed?
Yes, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Someone told me?
You should be getting a letter.
You guys are in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, they didn't send them to you?
No.
Thank you for
Thank you
I
so
didn't get a
much.
check either.
Check's coming, yeah.
Yeah.
0308, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, the reward is the service to the city. Unfortunately, there is no monetary thing, but there
See you
is.
tomorrow.
How much is it? I mean, how many years? Another 2 years?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thanks,
in.
guys. Have a good night.
New business, 50 South Common Street. Establish no parking 20 feet from the door to the driveway of the previous bus stop. So basically, coming out the driveway, they got a blind spot, they're looking to put a no parking there. Looking for a motion to set it down for a public hearing.
I'll make that motion to set down 962 for a public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Also, I have some correspondence too for a bus stop from the ward councilor is okayed it, and Council President Darren Seer to put a 15-minute sign for a business on 601, 603 Boston Street, the corner of Boston and Perry. I'd like to, if somebody could make a motion to set that
Pearly,
down.
right?
Pearly.
Pearly.
It's where that variety store is. The council president called in regards to looking to put
That's
some
in the corner
15-minute
there.
sides.
Pearlie's the next one from Myrtle, is that right?
It's kind of across from the Italian restaurant
Yeah.
and the gas station.
After the church on the right.
Old time. That convenience store right
Somebody's
there.
there?
That's Pearly.
Gotcha.
Is that for Lorraine's there?
Lorraine who?
Here's
Ah.
the thing.
Oh, Flowers, that's the other one.
The,
Could I make a
Pete?
motion to set down for a public hearing, the no parking at Boston and Pearlie Street?
I'll second it.
all,
Second to me for that.
I'll call the question. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anything on old business?
Nope.
And any important motion we want to make?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to adjourn,
I'll
seconded?
second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.